We're live from New Delhi, watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next hour. Indian Prime Minister's focus on developmental works across a wide range of sectors and changing lives during his 5-day visit beginning Monday. Shehbaz Sharif will take oath as 24th Prime Minister of Pakistan, who will lead a coalition government for a second time. US Vice President Kamala Harris to meet with a member of Israel's war cabinet in Washington to discuss humanitarian aid, urges Hamas to agree to immediate ceasefire. South Korea, US troops kick off annual drills over North threats. Pyongyang calls them rehearsals for a nuclear war. And on to the top story this hour. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi begins his 5-state visit to Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, West Bengal and Bihar from Monday. He will launch developmental projects worth around $12.8 billion with major focus on the power sector. He will visit Bhavani, the Bharatiya Nabhikiya Vidyut Nigam Limited in Tamil Nadu. Bhavani has developed the nation's first indigenous fast breeder reactor in Kalapakkam, Tamil Nadu. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports for more.
In a significant stride towards energy independence and sustainability, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to witness a historic event, the initiation of coal loading at the nation's first indigenous fast breather reactor in Kalapakkam in Tamil Nadu. Developed by Bhavani, the Bharatiya Navikiya Vidyut Nigam Limited, this prototype fast breather reactor or PFBR marks a remarkable step forward in India's nuclear power program. What sets this reactor apart is its unique capability to produce more fuel than it consumes. This groundbreaking feature paves the way for self-reliance in fuel supply for future fast reactors, aligning perfectly with India's 3-stage nuclear power program, which emphasizes a closed fuel cycle. But it's not just about energy production, it's about doing so responsibly. With minimized nuclear waste and advanced safety features, prototype fast breather reactors offer a safe, efficient and clean source of energy. They are not just power generators, they are contributors to the goal of achieving net zero emissions. Later in the day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a public meeting in Chennai, underscoring the importance of this milestone in India's energy journey. This event symbolizes India's commitment to a sustainable and secure energy future.
This milestone at the Kalapakkam fast breeder reactor signifies India's commitment to nuclear power advancement with the potential to lead in thorium utilization and achieve self-sufficiency in fuel supply. It also underlines India's strides towards clean and efficient energy production, bolstering its position in the global nuclear landscape. With camera person Jayashankar, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Kalapakkam in Tamil Nadu.
All right, DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya joins us for more from Chennai. Tapas, good morning. Prime Minister Modi begins his 5-state visit today. He launched several developmental projects in Tamil Nadu with a major focus on the power sector aimed at transforming lives across the regions. Could you give us the entire details?
Right, so Prime Minister will be coming to Tamil Nadu. He has 2 events there. The first is the one he will be going to Kalapakkam, where a core loading of India's first indigenous fast breeder reactor will be done. That's a historic moment considering the fact that this particular fast breeder reactor, it's a commercial. This is the first commercial fast breeder reactor that India will be starting. and once it's Prime Minister, it starts the core land loading of this particular fast breeder reactor, India will become the second country after Russia to have achieved this particular feat. Now, the second part is that Prime Minister also will go to Chennai for a public rally that he will, take part in. But as I mentioned, the first important part is that he will be going to Kalpakam, where India is expected to achieve a major milestone in nuclear energy, especially when it comes to the fast breeder reactor. Remember, the fast breeder reactor are considered the second stage in terms of the nuclear reactor cycle. The first one is what we generally call the fissile material that generally we, almost every country has, which boasts of a nuclear energy. But this particular fast breeder reactor is the one which is expected to be a major game changer in India's bid to become not just energy sufficient, but at the same time going net zero by 2070. And it will also pave the way for India to have a thorium-based nuclear energy reactor. So a huge momentous occasion for India as the Prime Minister embark on his Tamil Nadu trip.
All right, Tapas, we'll keep on taking an update from you through the day. Thank you for now. And moving on, India's Minister for Minority Affairs and Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani, on Sunday launched Hajj Guide and Hajj Suvidha app for the convenience of Hajj pilgrims in the Training of Trainers program organized by the Ministry of Minority Affairs at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi. Addressing the program, Smriti Irani said that the Narendra Modi government has taken several steps in coordination with various ministries to provide better facilities to the Hajjis.
नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार ने हर विभाग के समन्वय से हाजियों की सुविधा को और भी सुदृढ़ करने के लिए और भी मजबूत करने के लिए मिलकर समन्वय के माध्यम से कोऑर्डिनेटेड एफर्ट में कुछ कदम उठाए हैं। सऊदी अरब में आज एक दृष्टिकोण है, वो इस बात से संभवतः समझ में आता है कि पिछले साल जो महिला हाजी गई बिना महरम के, उनकी संख्या लगभग 4,300 की रही है और इस साल उनकी संख्या बढ़कर 5,160 के भी ऊपर चली गई है।
And Prime Minister of Thailand, Srettha Thavisin, attended the ceremony to invite the Lord Buddha's relics and the Arahant's relics in Sanam Luang, Bangkok on Sunday. Thousands of devotees too gathered to pay homage on the last day of exposition in Bangkok. From the Thai capital, the relics will go to Chiang Mai city in northern part of the country for 4 days on Tuesday, that is 5th of March. Then the relics will be taken to Ubon Ratchathani in northeastern Thailand on the 10th of March for next 4 days, and then to the beach town of Krabi in southern Thailand on the 15th of March. Concluding a historic and spiritually enriching exposition in the Southeast Asian country, the sacred journey will culminate on the 19th of March with the relics being escorted back to their respective homes in India. Also, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has expressed delight that a large part of Thai people are attending the historic and spiritually enriching exposition of relics in Thailand. In a tweet, he posted pictures and said, and I quote, "Deeply moved to see 1 million Thai devotees pay respects to the Buddhist holy relics which travelled from India. Our shared heritage and culture is a bridge that creates a special bond," unquote. He also thanked the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, Embassy of India in Thailand and International Buddhist Confederation for their efforts. Well, the Indian Navy is set to witness a significant surge in its maritime prowess with the induction of the Sea Hawks. The Indian Navy will commission the newly inducted MH-60R Sea Hawk multi-role helicopter on Wednesday at INS Garuda in Karachi. The Sea Hawk squadron will be commissioned in the Indian Navy as INAS 334. The helicopters are a part of the 24-aircraft FMS contract signed with the US government in February 2020. The helicopter is designed for anti-submarine warfare, anti-surface warfare, search and rescue, medical evacuation and vertical replenishment. The induction aligns seamlessly with the Government of India's visionary goal of ensuring security and growth for all in the region. Also, the Indian Navy is set to convert its temporary setup at Minicoy in Lakshadweep Islands into a full-fledged naval base on the 6th of March. It will commission Naval Detachment Minicoy as INS Jatayu in the presence of Navy Chief Admiral R. Hari Kumar. The Navy will now deploy some of its assets in the Minicoy Island and will also base personnel there permanently, which was not the case earlier. The event marks an important milestone in the Navy's resolve to incrementally augment security infrastructure at the strategically important Lakshadweep Islands. INS Jatayu is the second naval base in Lakshadweep after INS Dweep Rakshak in Kavarati. Minicoy is the southernmost island of Lakshadweep, 250 nautical miles southwest of Kochi. And the 5th edition of joint military exercise Dharma Guardian between the Indian Army and the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force is underway at Mahajan Field firing ranges in Rajasthan. Scheduled from 25th of February to the 9th of March 2024, the exercise is an annual event alternatively held in India and Japan. The aim is to foster military cooperation and enhance combined capabilities for joint operations in semi-urban environments under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. The exercises emphasizes physical fitness, joint planning, tactical drills and special arms skills. Well, an Indian delegation will present a copy of Srimad Bhagavad Gita to the Parliament of Sri Lanka as part of the International Gita Mahotsav on Monday. The three-day International Gita Mahotsav concluded at the Neelam Pokuna Theatre premises in Colombo on Sunday. On the last day, devotees witnessed a Sadbhavna Yatra in the form of Perahira in Colombo. The Sri Lankan traditions, Perahiras, are bright and colourful pageants or processions which include drum beaters, dancers and tuskers. It is the 5th such occasion that the International Gita Mahotsav was organised outside India, the first time ever in Sri Lanka. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. In an effort to give a boost to indigenous innovation in defence production, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will inaugurate DEF Connect 2024 event on Monday. DEF Connect 2024 will represent a significant milestone in the country's defence innovation landscape, and the event will also attract a large number of innovators and investors from India's leading industries in the defence sector. Manipur Governor Anusuya Ueke inaugurated the Northeast India Film Festival 2024 at Manipur State Film Development Society in Imphal. The Northeast India Film Festival is collaboratively organised with the sponsorship of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting by the Directorate of Information and Public Relations in Manipur, Film Forum Manipur, the Art and Culture Department and Manipur State Film Development Society and Thauna Manipur. India's western Himalayan region witnessed intense rainfall or snowfall till Sunday, impact of which is visible in the plains across Delhi NCR. Due to cold winds and rain, the air quality has also improved, with Delhi's AQI being recorded at 126. The Meteorological Department has predicted cloudy weather in Delhi on Monday and Tuesday as well. A snow martial arts training camp has been organised by a sports academy in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir's Budgam district. The camp aimed to promote snow martial arts in the Kashmir Valley, bringing together martial art enthusiasts from across the district. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Ukrainian rescuers complete search in Odessa after Russian drone attack kills 12. Haiti declares state of emergency amid violence, inmates on the run. And France to hold a final vote on including abortion in the constitution.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Quran, and moving on. After being elected as the Prime Minister of Pakistan again, Shehbaz Sharif will be administered the oath of office on Monday. Nawaz Sharif's younger brother, 72-year-old Shehbaz, will lead a coalition government for a second time. Shehbaz was the consensus candidate at the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz and the Pakistan People's Party, receiving 201 votes, 32 more than what was required to become leader of the House in the 336-member parliament. A report.
Finally, Sunday saw progress in government formation in Pakistan. Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz PMLN President Shehbaz Sharif was elected as the 24th Prime Minister of Pakistan. PMLN, along with their coalition partner, the Pakistan People's Party PPP, secured 201 votes in the National Assembly on Sunday. PTI-backed candidate Omar Ayub Khan secured 92 votes.
रिजल्ट अनाउंस करना चाह रहा हूं मियां मोहम्मद शहबाज शरीफ साहब has secured 201 votes.
Shehbaz Sharif, in his speech, recounted the achievements of his elder brother Nawaz Sharif during his tenure as Prime Minister.
God willing, we will make Pakistan a great country and move forward with our heads raised with pride.
Sunday's session of the new parliament saw ruckus and sloganeering, with the PTI-backed lawmakers accusing the government that the February 8th election was rigged. Khan's lawmakers won the most number of seats on February 8th, despite a sweeping crackdown against his Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI party that forced its candidates to run as independents and being debarred from holding rallies. The unusually delayed results also triggered accusations that the vote was rigged. The new government will have to immediately start talks with the IMF as the current IMF agreement expires in April. Sharif and his party will also have to deal with growing discontent over deepening poverty in the South Asian nation. Tanvi Taneja for DD India.
Well, the Vice President of the United States is due to meet with a member of Israel's war cabinet in Washington later today to discuss how to get humanitarian aid into Gaza. Kamala Harris and Benny Gantz are also expected to talk about the need for a temporary ceasefire. According to Gantz's office, he will also meet U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Our U.S. correspondent Jagruti Deve has more.
Officials from both sides have confirmed that the meeting is taking place. In a statement, Benny Gantz said that U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, as well as a bipartisan group of congressmen and women, would also be attending. A White House official said that Vice President Harris would be expressing her concern for the safety of around 1.5 million Palestinian people seeking refuge in Gaza.
And given the immense scale of suffering in Gaza, there must be an immediate ceasefire for at least the next 6 weeks, which is what is currently on the table. This will get the hostages out and get a significant amount of aid in. This would allow us to build something more enduring, to ensure Israel is secure, and to respect the right of the Palestinian people to dignity, freedom, and self-determination.
The White House is coming under increasing pressure to help broker a ceasefire, as well as secure the release of the remaining Israeli hostages captured by Hamas. All of this comes to the backdrop of fragile ongoing truce talks, as well as an airdrop of humanitarian aid over the weekend in Gaza by the Biden administration, while the United Nations is warning that the Palestinian people in Gaza are on the verge of a famine. Jagruti Dave in Washington reporting for DD India.
And rescue workers completed operations on Sunday after a drone strike on an apartment building in the southern city of Odisha, finding 4 more bodies and bringing the death toll to 12. Sunday was declared a day of mourning in Odisha. Dozens of apartment buildings sustained damage. The drone crashed into a residential building in Odisha on Saturday. President Volodymyr Zelensky said casualties could have been avoided if Ukraine had not faced delays in arms deliveries. Moreover, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday said political will was required to ensure that Ukraine secures the military supplies it needs, or the world will face one of the most shameful pages of history.
The main thing is political will that is needed to implement this all, to provide precisely the level of supply that could help. If this is not the case, it will become one of the most shameful pages in history. If America or Europe will lose to Iranians, Shahids or Russian fighters jet, Russian evil should not be encouraged either by weak decisions or by delay in supplies or indecisiveness.
Well, Germany has accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of trying to sow disunity with the wiretap leak of a confidential German army discussion on the Ukraine war. Germany's Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said on Sunday that Russia was conducting an information war aimed at creating divisions within Germany. Russian media on Friday published a 38-minute recording of German Air Force officers discussing support for Ukraine, prompting Russian officials to demand an explanation. The discussions also cover the use of long-range missiles provided to Kyiv by France and Britain. Pistorius said he was not aware of any further leaks at the army. He added that he would await the result of a military probe into the case to decide what consequences to draw.
The incident is clearly more than just the interception and publication of a conversation within the Air Force. It is part of an information war that Putin is waging. There is no doubt about that. It is a hybrid attack aimed at disinformation. It's about division, it's about undermining our unity. And accordingly, we should react to it with particular prudence, but no less determinedly.
Es geht jetzt auch darum, hier Putin nicht auf den Leim zu gehen.
Moving on, Turkey has expressed hope for a ceasefire in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said this on Sunday at the end of a diplomatic forum in the southern city of Antalya. The forum also saw a rare high-level encounter between a European Union member state and Russia. Slovakia's Foreign Minister Juras Blana held talks with Russian counterpart, a move widely criticized by Slovak opposition. DD India's Faiz Khan reports for more.
The 2-year-long conflict between Russia and Ukraine may see a glimmer of hope for resolution, with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan stating that discussions for a ceasefire in Ukraine are set to commence soon. The Turkish Foreign Minister made these remarks at Antalya Diplomacy Forum. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov too visited Turkey for Antalya Diplomacy Forum. He also held talks with other European leaders. A senior member of Slovakia's government met his Russian counterpart on Saturday.
We don't hide that we certainly prefer to do business with countries who, like Slovakia now, like Hungary, some others who put priority to the national interest as the elected government perceives those interests.
It was a rare high-level encounter between a European Union member state and Russia. It was criticized by the opposition. However, Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico said the meeting was an example of Slovakia's balanced foreign policy.
I fully support this balance. I knew about this meeting and recommended the minister to meet the Russian minister, even though I can already see the screaming characters in the opposition and liberal media.
Despite peace efforts, situation on ground remain volatile. Russia launched fresh missile strikes at school and apartment in the East Ukrainian towns of Mirnohrad and Pokrovsk on Sunday, in which 6 people were injured. On Saturday, a Russian drone crashed into a residential building in Odessa, destroyed several apartments and led to the death of 10 people. Faiz Khan's report for DD India.
Well, in Poland, protesting farmers blockaded all 6 border crossings to Ukraine on Sunday. The move comes after months of protest by Poland's agricultural workers against cheap Ukrainian imports threatening their livelihoods. Polish protesters continue to block all traffic at border crossing points, stopping all trucks from crossing. The farmers put forward many demands, including 2 main ones: the abolition of duty-free trade with Ukraine and the complete closure of the Ukrainian-Polish border for trucks. This was the 4th incident in recent days. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said earlier this week that Warsaw was in talks with Kyiv about temporarily shutting the border, although the Ukrainian side denied his claim. And shifting focus, U.S. presidential candidate Nikki Haley won the Washington, D.C. Republican primary on Sunday, her first victory in the nominating process and a symbolic win for the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She still faces near impossible odds in a quest to win the Republican nomination to take on likely Democratic nominee President Joe Biden in November. Trump won the first 8 nominating contests by significant margins before losing to Haley in America's capital city. Haley, the only remaining challenger to Donald Trump in the race, won 62.9% of the vote versus 33.2% captured by the former president. On Tuesday, voters in 15 states and 1 U.S. territory will caucus or go to the polls on the biggest day of nominating contest in the presidential primary, known as Super Tuesday. 874 Republican delegates will be up for grabs. And Haiti's government declared a state of emergency on Sunday following violent clashes in the capital that led to 2 prison breaks. In order to restore order, the government has imposed with immediate effect a curfew throughout the West Territory for a renewable period of 72 hours. An unknown number of prisoners escaped after armed gangs stormed in the main prison in Haiti's Port-au-Prince on Saturday. This comes after a major gang leader, Jimmy Cherizia, called on criminal groups to unite and oust Prime Minister Ariel Henry. The violence in the Caribbean country is expected to escalate further as the gang leader has warned people to stay indoors. Amidst the ongoing violence, the exact whereabouts of the Prime Minister remained unclear on Sunday. Ariel Henry had been due to return from a visit to Kenya, where he signed a security deal to tackle gang violence. And French lawmakers will meet today to hold a final vote on inscribing abortion into the Constitution. French President Emmanuel Macron convened a special Congress of National Assembly representatives and senators in Versailles after both houses of the parliament approved to enshrine the guaranteed freedom to abortion into its constitution. If the proposition garners a 3/5 majority in the special Congress, France will become the world's first nation to constitutionalize abortion. The move followed a U.S. Supreme Court's decision that reversed the ruling that recognized women's constitutional right to abortion and opened the door to states to ban the procedure. And still to come on DD India News Hour. South Korea says to start legal action against doctors over walkout. Ecuador's La Cumbre volcano has started erupting. We'll tell you the details ahead. And Romanians mark the arrival of spring with the tradition of Babele until March 8th.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Indian Prime Minister's focus on developmental works across a wide range of sectors and changing lives during his 5-day visit beginning on Monday. Shehbaz Sharif will take oath as 24th Prime Minister of Pakistan, will lead a coalition government for a second time. US Vice President Kamala Harris to meet with a member of Israel's war cabinet in Washington to discuss humanitarian aid, urges Hamas to agree to immediate ceasefire. And South Korea, US troops kick off annual drills over North threats. Pyongyang calls them rehearsals for a nuclear war. Well, news just coming in. South Korea plans to start legal proceedings that could lead to punishments for doctors who have walked off the job and disrupted health care to protest a plan to increase medical school enrollment. Authorities will start inspecting hospitals in order to take legal action against some 7,000 trainee doctors for ignoring a back-to-back work order. The government had warned the protesting trainee physicians they could face administrative and legal penalties, including the suspension of their medical licenses and fines or a jail term if they did not return to work the end of last month. Around 9,000 resident and intern doctors, or about 70% of the country's total, have walked off the job since 20th of February, leading to the cancellation of some surgeries and treatments in straining emergency departments. And DD India's correspondent Chris Gilbert joins us with more information on the doctors' strike from Tokyo. Well, Chris, despite government warnings, the majority of doctors have refused to return to work. And now the government is for action. What is the situation right now?
Well, the situation is that the pressure is being gently applied, as it was promised that it would be, by the government over the last 2 weeks since this walkout began. As you mentioned, the news just in, that they have begun the process of revoking some medical licenses, something that they say is irreversible. Once it's done, it's done. Of some of these doctors, they had extended their period of leniency of the ultimatum from Thursday to Sunday, saying that up until yesterday, if any doctors did return to work, they would be met with the utmost leniency, and if they didn't, there could be arrests made, there could be medical licenses revoked. It seems like that process has started. We don't know numbers just yet of how many this may be affecting, but we do know that the government has also started, as you said, on-site investigations at hospitals, offices and other workplaces, maybe even the Doctors Association, into just how many may have returned to work and how many are still in the process of in the midst of this walkout. Reports are that not many have. About the 9,000 to resign, the number is expected to be still about 300 who have in fact returned to their jobs. So despite this government ultimatum and the days of warning, it's had very little effect of fixing this crisis in the health system.
Well, Chris, how is the government planning to tackle the health emergency situations arising after such a long strike?
Well, if you ask the Doctors Association, that they would say that the government has not listened to the answers that they have. That is what the protest we saw on Sunday, where 30,000 members of the Medical Association turned out to protest about this government plan to extend the number of medical school seats from 3 to about 5,000 has not been done or not been preceded with the consultation and the approval of the Medical Association. associations and all the doctors in the country. They say that they're still facing long hours, 36-hour shifts, 100-hour weeks, and earning about, on average, $2,000 less in a trainee doctor situation than their American counterparts every month. So they're saying that the answers to the medical system that they're facing is to treat the doctors better in their esteem, and to also protect them more from malpractice lawsuits. The government is saying, well, in fact, extending the medical school seats by 2,000 is actually very modest, and is actually a smaller number than they were originally intending to do, which is about 3,000. But if we were to go any further into that, we would expose, a very deep-running situation and crisis that is facing the South Korean health system, which is largely being driven and spurred on by the country's aging population and increasing health needs.
Surely a deep-running situation there. Thank you so much, Chris, for that information. And moving on, South Korea and the United States began their annual spring military drills on Monday with a focus on heading off North Korea's any potential use of nuclear weapons. The 11-day Freedom Shield exercises come as North Korea continues to test various missiles and other weapon systems and develop its nuclear capability. It is the first since Pyongyang scrapped the 2018 Inter-Korean Military Pact in November. The drills will be tough and realistic and based on scenarios that reflect lessons learned from recent wars and conflicts. North Korea has accused the allies of stoking tensions with military drills, calling it rehearsals for a nuclear war. Seoul and Washington say the exercises are defensive in nature and meant to respond to the North's threats. And major protests have erupted against deteriorating living conditions and economic decline in Tunisia. Thousands of raged protesters demonstrated against the living standards in Kasbah Square in front of the Prime Minister's office. The protest is first in months to defend social dialogue, condemn the restrictions on union rights and inflation. The Tunisian General Labour Union, which has about 1 million members, had been a critical voice after the arrest of activists, businessmen and journalists since President Kais Saied seized most powers in 2021. And the Australian government is hosting 3-day special ASEAN summit from Monday in Melbourne. The summit marks the 50th anniversary of Australia becoming the association's first dialogue partner. The 3-day summit will provide an opportunity to further strengthen partnerships through events centered around key focus areas: business, emerging leaders, climate and clean energy and maritime cooperation.
The stakes are clear. We know that a major conflict in our region would be devastating to our communities and economies, as the terrible conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine have shown. So we all have a responsibility to shape the region we want to share, peaceful, stable and prosperous, a region in balance, where each country can pursue its own aspirations, where no country dominates and no country is dominated.
Well, a 5-day faculty exchange program with the participation of foreign service academies of BIMSTEC member countries began on Sunday in Dhaka. During the exchange program, diplomats from BIMSTEC member countries will offer proposals to enhance mutual cooperation among the foreign service training institutions within the South and Southeast Asian sub-regional platform. 13 faculties of foreign service academies from 7 countries of BIMSTEC are participating in this program. And Ecuador's La Cumbre volcano has started to erupt on Sunday. Images taken showed lava moving through Saturday night. Gas emission and thermal anomalies were detected through satellite systems by the Environment Ministry. However, there's no immediate danger since the area is uninhabited. The volcano last erupted in 2020 following several years of activity. And as floods wreak havoc in northern Bolivia, the country's armed forces were mobilized to deliver aid. Officials reached the flood-isolated areas and canoes distributed supplies such as food, water and medical aid to flood victims. 570 families from 14 communes have been forced out of their homes and into shelters from the region, while nationwide 15,000 families have been affected. And Thailand's Mekong River, one of Asia's longest river inhabiting rare species, is in decay. And almost 1/5 of fishes were facing extinction following drastic depletion. A new report by USAID, Wonders of the Mekong Conservation Crew, published on Monday, has said. It highlighted hydropower dams as the biggest problem as they alter river flow, change water quality and block fish spawning migrations. However, wildlife experts are saying the river can still be saved if there are immediate and continuous efforts. Well, in a world where our planet's wildlife faces unprecedented challenges, the need for innovation in conservation has never been more critical. This year, on World Wildlife Day 2024, the United Nations embarked on a journey of exploration and discovery, uniting people and planet through the power of digital innovation. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya has more on this.
वर्ल्ड वाइल्ड लाइफ डे की थीम में डिजिटल इनोवेशन को सर्वोपरि रखा गया है। आपको ये जानकर खुशी होगी कि हमारे देश के अलग-अलग हिस्सों में वन्य जीवों के संरक्षण के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी का खूब उपयोग हो रहा है।
On 3rd of March every year, the world comes together to celebrate World Wildlife Day, an initiative by the United Nations to shine a spotlight on the incredible diversity of life on our planet. This day serves as a reminder of the intricate connection between humanity and the natural world, urging us to take action to protect our precious wildlife and their habitat. Under the theme of connecting people and planet, exploring digital innovation in wildlife conservation, this year's World Wildlife Day delves into the transformative potential of digital technologies in safeguarding our natural heritage. Advancements in technology, from satellite tracking to DNA analysis, are revolutionizing the wildlife conservation efforts, providing us with invaluable insights into the lives of endangered species and their ecosystem. Satellite monitor wildlife movements while data aids in understanding migration patterns and land use, bolstering conservation initiatives. World Wildlife Day emphasizes the importance of collective action. It calls upon countries, companies, and individuals to work together towards a just and sustainable future for all living beings. As we celebrate World Wildlife Day 2024, let's harness the potential of digital innovation to preserve our planet's biodiversity for generations to come. Let's make a difference. With camera person Vinod, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared his greetings on social media platform X on World Wildlife Day. PM Modi said March 3rd is the day to celebrate the incredible diversity of life on our planet. Prime Minister said and echoed greetings to all wildlife enthusiasts on World Wildlife Day. This is a day to celebrate the incredible diversity of life on our planet and to reiterate our commitment towards protecting it, unquote. Also echoed, I also appreciate all those who are at the forefront of sustainable practices and supporting wildlife conservation efforts, unquote. And United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in his message of World Wildlife Day, urged countries to take urgent action to drastically reduce emissions. The United Nations chief said that pollution, climate chaos, habitat loss and exploitation of nature have pushed 1 million plant and animal species to the brink of extinction. This is horrifying in itself. It is also a direct threat to the health and livelihoods of billions of people around the world, particularly the most vulnerable. As the theme of this year's World Wildlife Day reminds us, digital technologies can help to turn things around. I also urge countries to take urgent action to drastically reduce emissions, adapt to climate extremes, prevent pollution and put the brakes on biodiversity loss, including recognizing the role of indigenous people play in protecting biodiversity. Developed countries must invest in biodiversity and climate action in developing countries, he said. And a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket will shortly launch 4 astronauts to the International Space Station for NASA on the Crew 8 mission. Crew 8 is the 8th crew rotation mission on SpaceX's human space transportation system and its 9th flight with astronauts. According to NASA, the weather trends have continued to improve and its launch is now 85% on go. The crew has finished executing communication checks with the launch team and their seats have been rotated into position for launch. Over 200 science experiments and technology demonstrations will take place during Crew 8's mission of approximately 8 months in space. Experiments will include using stem cells to create organoid models to study degenerative diseases, studying the effects of microgravity and UV radiation on plants at a cellular level. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Relatives and friends remember the missing passengers from Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 on Sunday, which vanished 10 years ago en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing on March 8, 2014. At the remembrance event, Malaysia's Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the government is pushing for a renewed search for the plane. Previous investigation did not result in proper answers for the victims. 2 horses belonging to United States Cleveland escaped from the stables on Saturday before galloping down to one of the longest highways in the United States. The incident led to some traffic in the already congested roads. The 2 horses were eventually recovered. No accident or injuries were reported. Romanians are marking the arrival of spring with the traditional Babelel until 8th of March. Traditionally, people chose a day starting on the first day of spring and the weather on their chosen days to determine their nature for the rest of the year. The custom has its roots in pre-Christian times but has endured through the ages. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will inaugurate a conference with focus on tackling tax evasion. LeBron James creates history by becoming the first player in NBA history to score 40,000 points. And in football, Phil Foden's heroics leads Manchester City to a 3-1 win over Man United in the Premier League clash. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. On to some business news now. Council of Ministers brainstorms on vision document for Viksit Bharat 2047 and detailed action plan for the next 5 years. According to the sources attributable to Government of India, a 100-day agenda for immediate steps also worked upon for quick implementation after formation of the new government in May 2024. The roadmap for Viksit Bharat or Developed India is a result of more than 2 years of intensive preparation. It involved a whole-of-government approach involving all ministries and wide-ranging consultations with state governments, academia, industry bodies, civil society, scientific organizations and mobilization of youth for seeking their ideas, suggestions and inputs. More than 2,700 meetings, workshops and seminars were held at various levels. Suggestions of more than 20 lakh youth were received. The roadmap for Viksit Bharat has a comprehensive blueprint with clearly articulated national vision, aspirations, goals and action points. Its goal includes areas like economic growth, SDGs, ease of living, ease of doing business, infrastructure, social welfare, etc. And India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will inaugurate a conference of enforcement chiefs of all state and central GST officers to tackle tax evasion on Monday. In the conference, goods and services tax formations will deliberate on combating GST evasion, including examining current challenges and delving into successful methods adopted by central and state tax enforcement officers. The conference will also balance ease of doing business and discuss striking a crucial equilibrium between facilitating a smooth business environment and implementing effective and deterrent enforcement measures. Well, Japan's benchmark Nikkei stock average breached the 40,000 point level for the first time and touched a new record high on Monday. The Nikkei opened up 0.73% at 40,201.76 before rising by 112.88 points in mid-morning trade to notch a fresh record high. Japan's technology shares helped pull the Nikkei above 40,000, boosted by the ongoing artificial intelligence rally in U.S. stocks, which once again pushed the S&P 500 and NASDAQ to record highs on Friday. Well, U.S. congressional negotiators on Sunday unveiled a package of 6 government funding bills ahead of the shutdown deadline at the end of the week. The legislation sets a discretionary spending level of $1.66 trillion for fiscal 2024, a spokesman for Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said. The 1,050-page bill lays out in detail funding for 6 of the dozen segments of the government that Congress is charged with allocating money for the next 6 due by later in the month. While the top leaders of Congress have agreed on the deal, it still faces some challenges, notably opposition by hardline Republicans in the House, who have repeatedly called for sharp spending cuts and typically do not vote for spending bills. The House will have to vote on the bill first before the Senate can take up the package before Friday. Schumer said the House is due to return to Washington on Tuesday. And British Foreign Minister Jeremy Hunt sought to dampen speculation about big pre-election tax cuts in the week's budget, saying there had been a worsening in the economic outlook, but he hinted at some help from the voters. Hunt told the Sunday Telegraph that the forecasts that underpin the budget have gone against us. Referring to last November's fiscal update, Hunt said that we don't have as much of a positive outlook as we had at the end of the autumn statement. He said there was a long path ahead to bring down Britain's highest tax burden since World War II. And you're watching the India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. Phil Foden's heroics kept Manchester City's Premier League title challenge on track with a superb 3-1 home victory over Manchester United on Sunday. Foden arrowed a sublime effort into the top corner in the 56th minute, and the England forward then produced a clinical finish with 10 minutes of normal time pending. Erling Haaland, who missed a golden first half chance, secured the point with a late strike. Reigning champion City, with an unbeatable run in all competitions of 19, moved to 62 points, one behind leaders Liverpool, which it visits next weekend. Unlike remains in 6th place with 44 points. And Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola hailed Phil Foden as the best player in the Premier League on current form and will become a Manchester City legend after his second half double ensured Manchester City an unbeatable win.
He is right now this season, yeah. I've been the best so far. Always had the feeling to score goals in the training sessions, always had the feeling. But now he's winning games. So he lives to play football, but now he's winning games. He played first 9 in Bournemouth. It was unbelievable. Today, after he missed the first chance against Onana, he became a little bit anxious, and that is for the age. Being effective or ineffective, that is not the question. The feeling that he's aggressive to try to score. That's why he has become a really important player for us and for national team from England.
And LeBron James made history by becoming the first NBA player to reach 40,000 career points. He achieved this remarkable milestone during the Los Angeles Lakers home game against the Denver Nuggets. James sealed his place in basketball history with a scoop layup of the glass in the second quarter. The sold-out crowd at the Staples Center erupted in cheers as James reached the historic mark, offering him a standing ovation as he took a moment on the bench to soak in the achievement. And on to cricket now. The Australian beat New Zealand by 172 runs in the first test of the two-match series, taking 1-0 lead against the Kiwis. The performances for Cameron Green and Nathan Lyon propelled Australia to the victory. Cameron Green was declared the man of the match, chasing 396. The New Zealand resumed at 111.3 on the fourth day in its second innings and collapsed in the face of superb spin bowling from Lyon to be all out for 196. The two teams will now face each other in the second test of the two-match in Christchurch on Sunday. And NV Charlton of the Bahamas is again the sole owner of the women's indoor 60-meter hurdle world record after the 28-year-old blazed to a time of 7.65 seconds at the World Indoor Championships on Sunday. The 28-year-old from the Bahamas beat the previous mark of 7.67 she shared with American Tia Jones. Charlton broke a record that had stood for 16 years when she won the Milwaukee game on February 11th before she quelled it at the US Championships 6 days later. Jones did not compete this time in Glasgow due to the injury. And doctors in India's popular tourist destination, Jammu and Kashmir, brave heavy snow as they cross various lanes to provide door-to-door polio vaccination services to children. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Vipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.